Hola, hola, muy buenos dias, continuous liners. This is Meagan Burns coming to you live from the streets of San Miguel de Allende. I'm here at Cafe Ampola, right here in town. Where am I? I'm on Hernandez Macias. Here's one of the doorways, the magical doorways of San Miguel. So yeah, I'm out here. I'm on my moto. And my dog is walking with her pack, and so I just thought, well, I'm going to stop and do a little continuous line warm-up. And because I haven't really talked about it much, I want to talk about this month's drawing challenge, the continuous lines only. And why are we doing continuous lines only? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, because you know, I love the whole process of like doing a drawing and then adding color. I mean, I love doing that. I love playing with saturated ink, super fast, super powerful, right? But there's something about when you just do lines only, it's, I don't know, is it a more organic way to look at your drawing? Maybe, because I hope I have connection here. I didn't even check that. It's like you can't cover up your mistakes or perceived mistakes. You just have to go with it, right? So it's just, I personally have been trying to do more from my imagination, right? Which I had a conversation with someone yesterday or something. They said, that's really hard, right? Because in this day and age, we have so many opportunities for photo references, right? And even when you're sitting in the street, you can take a picture and look at something. I certainly have done that, if only just to line things up. I mean, I've looked at my photos to draw things, right? I'm not going to deny that. Do I look at my photos and draw? Usually not. No. Usually no, I don't do that. I do like to draw from more, over time and with practice, it has become easier to trust my hand, because I certainly remember those times when I'd draw something, I'd be like, oh my God, what the hell is that, right? Like, how embarrassing, right? And I would just put it away or burn it or whatever. So by doing just a one line and just there's no way to cover it up, it's a good challenge, because you just, well, this was the first one I did, right, with the flower card, right? And so I'm here at this cafe, and there's a fountain and a tree, and I thought I forgot all my pens, so I grabbed my red Sharpie that I always have in my pocket and did the fountain. And you know, the tree has, I think it's an olive tree, it's got all these little tiny leaves, and I'm like, I'm just going to turn it into hearts. And oh, look, little hummingbirds showed up there, right? So the reason for continuous lines only is just as a way to practice and strengthen your line awareness, confidence, and strength. And as a good, you know, sometimes I draw with, well, I mean, I draw with a lot of things, but to do lines only with a brush pen, because it's super scary. It's scarier than, well, it's certainly scarier than a pencil, but it's scarier than a fountain pen too. Because I'm looking for my newer one. This is my older one. It's a little fragmented. So I hope I have my new one here. Newer. It's not new. Yeah, there we go. It's really funny, when I walked into this cafe, they were playing really cool music, funky, cool, and I was like sitting in the doorway waiting for them to open and just drawing and stuff. And then when they saw me, they put on this like really super boring jazz, and I'm like, oh, music for gringos is sometimes the worst. I'm like, I don't want the music for the gringos. Put the music on. Put your music back on. So they put their music back on. Yeah, music for gringos, right? It's boring. Ah, here comes my beautiful latte. Muchísimas gracias. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Gracias. So look at this. I love a good, and I'm so glad they didn't fill it up, because it's an enormous latte. But look at how pretty that is. Isn't that the prettiest thing? Salud, muy buenos dias to you all. Hope you're all doing well. What is today? Thursday, February 6th. 1 month anniversary of the 1 month after, right? of the anniversary of the current president attempt to overthrow the government a few years ago. He's doing a fine job now, but he started a few years ago. So anyways, we're in the throes of that, aren't we? And how are you doing with all that, right? Like, it's rather upsetting. The news is upsetting, isn't it? Because he's just destroying everything, and he's doing a lot of destruction. And if you look at the news too much, it can be very upsetting. And so my recommendation is to remember, I don't know the way, I'm not an expert in anything, but just remember, he is a reality TV guy, and so all he cares about are ratings and cliffhangers, and then him solving the problem, right? So, and we're literally in the throes of that, of reality TV, where he creates a problem, and then it's a cliffhanger, and we go to sponsor break with Pfizer, Monsanto, and Exxon, right? And then we come back, and then he solves the problem, right? So this is how it's going to be now and forever. And in the meantime, he creates a lot of problems, right? So you got to find your way through this, because I go up, down with the being upset about it, and I find that the more I just mind my own business, I stick to my business, I stay close to my drawing community, I stay close to the goals I want to get to. I just slid right into doing my continuous line warm-ups, because it is honestly how it just helps me manage my scared thoughts, right? So, stay close to the things that are literally in front of your eyes, and not so much the things that are in our screens. Because, man, our screens got super scary, didn't they? OMG. I mean, even if you're not personally directly affected by a lot of these enormous changes, we all are affected, right? Because, first of all, it just adds to the stress level. I've had people say, oh, it must be so nice to be in Mexico during all this. Well, yes, I'm super grateful, but the chaos and the problems have just caused a lot of stress for everyone, right? Imagine the Mexicans. Imagine how Mexicans feel watching this debacle, right? And then you got a bunch of, in their mind, freeloading gringos roaming the streets, enjoying the lower prices and the wonderful lifestyle, right? I mean, it is wonderful. And so it's just there's a lot of things to consider. It's not just what we're hearing on the news, because that's the worst of the worst, but there are a lot of enormous changes happening. I mean, I listen to my I listen to astrologers, and a lot of them are talking about how, it's the start of a new era. And then you look at the politics, and it's the start of a new era. And you look at the education, it's the start of a new era, right? So you can stick your head in the sand if you want, but ideally prepare. What is that saying? Gird your loins, man. Gird your loins, because this is the start of a new era, and it's best to be prepared. And so how do you prepare? I have no idea. What do you put your money in your mattress? Then what? And then you never leave your mattress. You buy everything you can right now and stock the bunker. Then what? Then you never leave the bunker. I don't know. I think I don't want to react to the fear, but I want to be prepared, and I want to be able to move forward, right? So how do you be prepared? Well, first of all, you got to take care of your mind, right? Mind, body, and spirit, because if you're too stressed out, it's going to be hard to think clearly, right? If you're super stressed, if you're watching the news, and we all look at it because it's outrageous, right? And so you look at it, but then you gotta give yourself boundaries, right? Like, okay, I'm just gonna look for 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna go jump off a cliff, or I'm gonna go make a cup of tea and sweep the floors, and wash the dishes, that whole thing, right? Just like chop wood, carry water, because keeping your hands engaged and your mind engaged, it just really, I mean, I have a dog, and walk the dog, to go talk to the dog. My God, my dog enjoys conversations with me in a way that no other dog has, and so that's interesting. Salud. See, I get all bundled up when I leave the house because it's cold, and then that sun comes out and everything changes, so now I'm like getting all hot. I broke my line. Oops, it's okay to break your line. So, chop wood, carry water, and prepare yourself. Like these are the things that I'm preparing for. I'm preparing for the economics to be in a whole different realm, right? Like the whole idea of having a job and working there forever and retiring, that went away a long time ago. But so then there's the gig economy. And what is the gig economy? Well, that's where people basically get exploited, right? Oh, gracias. The gig economy is where people are kind of left to their own devices to like drive for Amazon or be an artist on contract, right? Like that's what I did in my youth. In my young adult, I was a contractor, right? And I created digital presentations and graphic design projects, and I worked for myself. But that meant I had to like take care of my taxes, I had to take care of my health insurance, and I was kind of out on a limb for all that stuff. Knock on wood, thankfully, I mean, because I've gone years of my life without health insurance, years and years. Like I would say most of my life I've been without health insurance, and thankfully I have not had a lot of health disasters, and I mean that whole health thing, that's a super scary thing, right? And so I don't think it's a gig economy anymore. I'm sure there's a name for it, and I just haven't heard, where you just have to work in smarter ways. And I know a lot of the people in my community are not working so much, but it's not a bad idea to be aware of how the kids are trying to stay afloat these days, right? Because it's kind of scary. I would not want to be a young person trying to figure out how to build a career. And then you got the whole AI thing, and the whole thing with AI is you can't just ask it to write things for you. That's that's old school of working with AI. You have to ask it to build a system for you, right? So I personally am in the process of building a system for myself to work smarter, not harder. Scalability, right? You got to scale everything. That's such corporate speak. But at the same time, I really like being in front of people. So it's going to be a fine line of scaling up and being in front. I have historically done art workshops, sketch workshops, urban sketching workshops on location. I've done Oaxaca, Mexico City, Sayulita, Guanajuato, aquí in San Miguel de Allende, San Francisco, and I have one in Paris. And so I've had to cancel my workshops in Mexico because it wasn't like there was political fighting in the streets, but the tensions were just a little high, and especially against, I'm not trying to speak for anyone, but it just I don't want to bring my groups to a place where they might not. Mexico already is a triggering place. People already assume when they come to Mexico they're going to be robbed, or it just has a bad PR, generally speaking. So Paris could be burning and on fire, and everyone could be infested with bed bugs, and people are like, let's go, right? But there's one incident happens in Mexico, and people are like, yeah, I'm not going there because I'm going to get killed or robbed, or my liver is going to get taken, right? So I have always had to be kind of aware of that sort of stuff. And just with, the American politics, I just canceled my Mexico workshops. And I hope to do them again, but I'm not canceled my Paris one. Paris is on the leaderboard, as they say. And, but I'm watching what's happening throughout the whole world, right? There's a whole right-wing fascism movement taken over the world, right? So I'm just, like, God, how do you, has no one learned anything? I mean, it's just so weird. It's so weird how we're like 2025 and the United States of America has a fascist, anyways, I'm not going to say that word anymore. There's just some agendas that are pretty strict, right? So how do you manage this? You got to take care of you first, and a drawing habit is a part of that medicine. I don't know what all your medicine is, but I know for me, a good portion of my medicine is staying away from the news. I read it in bits and pieces, right? Not bits and pieces, like I'll take a little time in the morning, just to start the day off, and then later in the afternoon, right? Just little bits and pieces, because you want to know what's going on, but you don't want to be like, I don't want to feel sick about it, because I've sometimes spent an hour looking at stuff, and then I'm like, I just don't feel good. I don't feel good. I'm scared for my country. I'm scared for I'm so glad my mom is not here. This would have been so upsetting to her. And so I'm glad she's not here to witness this, right? So take care, keep drawing, and find way. I mean, I feel this is like so cliche. Find your community and, help each other. That's cliche, right? And old-fashioned, but it's so true. You got to stay close to home and support and be kind, right? Be kind. I was like all rah, be kind, help your neighbors, talk to your neighbors. And I went out, I took my dog for a walk, and I went to the park, and there was this other dog that came up, and they started wrestling, so I just let go of my dog's leash for a few minutes. We were all standing right there, and they were all just wrestling right there. And after it wasn't even 5 minutes, I went down to get my leash, and this man said to me, "You gringos are all the same. There are rules here. You're not supposed to let your dogs off the leash, but you're all the same and you don't care." And I was like, oh my God, that's so not, I care, right? But he doesn't care that I care. He's angry, right? There's a lot of people that are angry. And so he came after me for being what he thought was just another silly, stupid gringo. And it made me sad. And then when I tried to say something back, he gave me this like, F you kind of a thing. And I was like, yeah, community. Be kind to your neighbors. I'm not like, oh, woe is me too much, because that stuff just happens everywhere. But, there's just a tension in the air, and that's super unfortunate, right? So I feel like the more I just stick to my drawing and stick to my own business, mind my own business, and be a friend where I can, and me personally, I'm building my online community because I don't know what the future holds for traveling. So like I was saying about Paris, right now my Paris workshop is on. I would like to add another one. Yes, Paris, but I'd like to add another location, like even go back to San Francisco. But I'm just like, I don't know what to think about any of it. I mean, the economics are looking like it's not, oh yeah, mister, I'm going to save the prices, bring all the prices down. And no, of course not. All right. So, anyways, I'm going to finish big with a heart, just as a reminder to go easy on myself and easy on others. And these are tense days. They're very surreal days, right? But just do what you can to take care of your mind, body, and soul, right? So here's finishing big with the heart. I just did one big one. So all I want to say about the brush pen thing is I like to use a Fude when I'm doing my lines. But like right next to me here, let me see if I can do this. Look these are one of my favorite plants. I forget what they're called, but they're these big, enormous leaves, right? And this whole courtyard. Let me show you this courtyard. It's a very pretty courtyard here in San Miguel de Allende, and I'm over in the edge. There's the tree I just drew, and instead of all those, I think it is an olive tree, I made hearts on the tree instead, because I didn't want to mess with all those little squiggly lines. So beautiful little courtyard, very, there's organose cactus up on top, moss, those are agaves up there and some other ones. Beautiful, the arches of San Miguel. Oops, can you see that? And then the whole courtyard is filled with this. So I am just going to, the reason why it's good to use a, this sort of pen. Let's see, can we do this? Let me see if I can move this around a little bit. I'll cut this out in the YouTube version. All my live streams go to YouTube, and I don't do a lot of editing, but I sometimes will do a little bit of editing. Let's see. Can I do this? Maybe. There we go. All right, so I'm just gonna, can I get my coffee in here for a little ambiance? No, there's not enough room. And so I'm gonna do, let's see, I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start right here and just do these leaves, right? Yeah, just super fun. And this brush pen is like almost, it's so aggressive. And then I'm gonna put my coffee here, my beautiful coffee, on the little table, like I'm just sitting here. But I've just, with this brush pen, see how quickly it just fills the page? And so I'm just going to put some stem action in here, and then there we go. So very, very, very quickly, a brush pen can be very aggressive in handling, you know, is it perfect? Is it beautiful? No, but it's just a line practice, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about just quick drawings to help push you through, right? Because by pushing through and doing these quick drawings, it just like, you just start to loosen up your mind. And also by doing these line exercises, so a combination of doing continuous line warm-ups, one big line, long line on the page, and then just drawing something very quickly, right? Super quick. Here's that tree that I turned the leaves into hearts and then put hummingbirds, right? So this, nothing about this group is like finished drawings, although there are some finished drawings, but we're not a finished drawing group. This is literally a practice group where you can practice your lines in a safe community and not feel like, oh, I mean, we all have these feelings like, oh, that's not a good drawing. I didn't do it very well. I'm not very good. We all have good days and we all have bad days. And by doing this, you kind of start to detach from that feeling of ego controlling your drawing, because you do this and you're conditioning. You are conditioning the eye-hand relationship. And so that when your head says, oh, I'd like to draw that bottle and glass, your hand can do that. And with practice, it gets easier, right? So, you know, I get a lot of people say, oh, I could never draw like that. Oh, I could never do, oh, I can't draw a straight line to save my life. Well, you could if you practice. You could draw, and it doesn't mean like you're the greatest artist in the world and you're going to be selling in the Louvre and you're going to have your own gallery. That's not, I mean, I've been drawing for a while. Last thing, I don't want to be in a gallery. I mean, sure, I'm not going to say no, but that whole being in a gallery, not my thing at all. I'd rather draw with you and go places and draw with you, right? So here's like, I bought this pen in Paris. It's a, what is it? It's like it's a Pilot liquid ink V-ball, if that means anything to you. And the sweet gal, she brought me she brought me a bottle of water and a, what's that called? A glass. So I am just going to, there we go. There we go. And then my glasses are right in front of it. So let me just draw. And then my little pencil bag is right in front of it, where I have all my pens, and it's got big googly eyes. So, I probably do this a little bit faster when I'm on the screen here with you, because I don't want this sense of like making you wait. I still have that. I still get it. But the whole idea here is just to move quickly and so just very quickly, right? I think that was a 3-minute sketch, continuous line with my red ink pen. So have fun with it. Don't feel like you have to do masterpieces. Don't feel like they have to be perfect. Have fun with it, because the more you just loosen up and play, the more you're going to enjoy it. Like, you got to get over that ego thing of like, oh, I can draw or I can't draw, right? It works both ways. The ego can be like, oh, you're the greatest or you're the worst. So the more you just play with it, the more you bypass the ego and just do what you want to do, right? So, all right, everyone, there you go. Finish big with a heart, because you have to. We have to. We got to stay focused on the heart stuff and limit your news stuff and the Apprentice reality TV with its cliffhangers and its solving the problem. Avoid that as much as possible. You'll hear about it. You can't avoid it entirely, right? But really do take care of mind, body, and soul right now, because without that, you do fall prey. You fall prey to the chaos and the confusion and the destruction, right? So do what you can to save yourself and enjoy lattes in beautiful ceramic cups, okay? All right, everyone, have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.